Nick Vujicic is a renowned Australian Christian preacher, writer, social activist, and motivational speaker. This cheerful man and charismatic speaker is unique in that he achieved worldwide recognition, despite the fact that he was born without arms and legs. Childhood and youth. Nicholas Vujicic was born in Melbourne, the son of Duska and Boris Vujicic, immigrants from Serbia. At birth, the father was present in the delivery room and saw the child's shoulder without an arm. Out of fear, he ran out into the corridor, and after the delivery was over, he asked the doctor, "Was my son born without an arm?" The doctor, with great regret, made the diagnosis, "He has no arms or legs. This is tetrachomania." The disease took away the baby's hands, and from the lower extremities there was an underdeveloped foot with fused fingers. Surprisingly, despite the enormity of his physical condition, Nick was born completely healthy. His siblings were also found to have no abnormalities. A surgical operation performed immediately after birth allowed the toes to be separated. Thus, Nick received his only limb, a manipulator, with which he had to explore the world. This helped Vujicic learn to write and even ride a skateboard, pushing off the asphalt with his feet. As a child, Nick's physical disabilities were depressing. His parents insisted that his son go to a simple school, and the boy suffered from the realization of his own inferiority. In addition, the children often bullied him because he was different from them and could not answer them. When Nick was 6 years old, his cousin died of cancer. It was a great shock for Vujicic. For the first 4 months, the mother did not let the baby near her breast. "My parents didn't know how to handle it." Gradually, month after month, the parents began to get used to the special boy. They loved him for what he is, with all the flaws and peculiarities. At the age of 10, he decided to commit suicide, but thoughts of his loved ones kept him from taking the fatal step. The boy imagined the pain he would cause to the people who loved him, and gave up the terrible intention. At the same time, Nick found himself in Christianity, realizing the power of divine love, which permeates the whole world and does not require him to be perfect. Sermons. At the age of 17, Vujicic gave his first sermon to the parishioners of the church. At 19, he was asked to give a speech to students at Griffith University, where he was studying at the time. The performance was a success and found a lively response among young Australians. That was the first time Nick Vujicic realized that his calling and mission was to motivate others with the Word of God. Unusual appearance, charm, and love of life brought popularity to the young preacher, which allowed Vujicic in 1999 to found a religious charity organization, Life Without Limbs. Over the years, Nick's popularity on the continent has grown so much that in 2005 he was awarded the prestigious Young Australian of the Year award. Nick constantly increases his level. He received 2 higher educations, in accounting and financial planning. In addition to being the founder of Life Without Limbs, he is the owner of the motivational company Attitude is Altitude. To convey his worldview to a wide audience, Nick Vujicic delivers lectures and sermons. He has visited 45 countries and is constantly expanding the geography of his trips. In March 2015, he gave motivational lectures in Moscow and St. Petersburg. In India, only one meeting with the speaker was attended by 110,000 people. Vujicic has an excellent sense of humor. One day, Nick had to fly to another lecture. He boarded the plane, positioned himself in front of the passengers, and introduced himself as the captain of the plane. A moment's silence was followed by enthusiastic laughter and a standing ovation. Preaching the idea of unconditional love, Nick held a marathon of hugs, where he hugged 1.5 thousand listeners. In the framework of public activities, a man uses the possibilities of the World Wide Web. Nick makes videos, blogs, and shares details of his life on Instagram with his fans. In addition, Nick Vujicic writes books where he talks about fate and shares with readers thoughts about the place of man in the world. Books and movies. Nick starred in a short film by Joshua Weigel. The film tells about a circus with unusual performers. Among its performers are an old man flying under the dome of the circus, a kind and graceful acrobat girl, a flexible person who fits in a suitcase. But the main role in the film is played by Vujicic. His hero is used as a living exhibit, tomatoes are thrown at him, everyone mocks him. The film tells about a strong man who listened to his heart and, despite the lack of arms and legs, began to live a full life. The film motivates and evokes respect for Vujicic, because the plot is similar to the fate of Nick. This is one of the best motivational films according to the audience and the jury. It won first place at the Ashland Independent Film Festival, Heartland, Sedona, and Method Fest. There are 4 bestsellers in Nick's bibliography. Books tell about the willpower that can be cultivated if you believe in yourself and strive to achieve a great goal. Vujicic's first work, Life Without Borders. The Path to a Stunningly Happy Life was released in 2010. The book revealed to the world the phenomenon of the preacher, whose life is associated with great restrictions. In addition to the story about himself, Nick formulated the principles of a happy life on the pages of the publication. The lack of limbs does not prevent Vujicic from enjoying the joys of life, surfing, swimming, jumping from a springboard into the water. Its computer print speed reaches 43 words per minute. These and other amazing facts of his biography, the preacher told the readers. After 3 years, Nick released the second work, Unstoppable. The Incredible Power of Faith in Action. In the book, the speaker described in detail how he managed to turn faith into action. He paid great attention to the difficulties that every reader has to overcome every day. Soon followed by the release of the publication Be Strong. You Can Overcome Violence, and Everything That Prevents You from Living, which was no less successful than the previous books. It was also broken down into quotes. Personal life. Nick had been an amorous boy since he was a child. His first love caught up with him in the 1st grade. The girl's name was Megan. At the age of 19, Vujicic fell in love again. With the girl there was a difficult relationship. The platonic romance lasted 4 years, after which the feelings cooled down. At one time, the young man thought that he would never establish a personal life and would not be able to start a family. But he was wrong. The first time he saw the bride-to-be, Nick felt an explosion of emotions. He felt like he was gaining legs and arms. It was love at first sight. The chosen writer's name was Connie Mia. The girl was half Japanese, half Mexican. She was also a member of the evangelical church. The bride's father moved to Mexico, where he founded his own business. Later, after his death, the family, consisting of his mother, 2 sisters, and a brother, moved to the United States. After 3 months of dating, in the spring of 2011, Nick and Connie decided to live together. The young people had a hard time, but the girl quickly got used to the everyday peculiarities of living together. Besides, Nick at that moment lost all his savings after the financial crisis. But Connie was a wise and patient woman. In 2012, Nick Vujicic got married. The speaker put the diamond engagement ring in the basket with the chocolate ice cream that Connie likes. The girl agreed. The wedding was held simply, without unnecessary publicity. Only a few photos from the celebration appeared online. Nick described the details of the novel in the book Love Without Limits. A remarkable story of true love. The spouse insanely loves her husband and copes with all the responsibilities. His wife helps Nick in his charitable and preaching activities. They often appear together at special events and sports matches. A year later, on February 14, Valentine's Day, Nick Vujicic and his wife became parents for the first time. The couple had their first child, named Kiyoshi James Vujicic. The child is completely healthy, 3.6 kilograms at birth. He did not inherit the genetic pathologies of the father. The birth of the first child inspired the couple, and the second son was born 2 years later. The boy was named Dayon Levi. In 2017, the family of Nick was replenished with 2 charming girls. Twins Olivia and Ellie were born in late December. The daughters, like the speaker's sons, are completely healthy. Nick first reported the news to his Facebook followers. Nick Vujicic is still inspired to carry his mission to the masses. His trips and tours are scheduled for years to come. With lectures and speeches, a man is ready to go to the other side of the world to inspire desperate people by his own example. This is what Nick sees as his calling. In 2018, the speaker visited Moscow and St. Petersburg, as well as major cities of Ukraine. Personally, I admire this man, and together we can make the world a better place. The materials are taken from his performances and his film.